Okay, for the independent t-test, so remember that the two samples should be independent and they are not related at all. So unlike the dependent sample t-test where the two samples are related, and usually we use the same person but for two different occasions. All right, but for in the independent sample t-test, the two samples are totally different. Okay, so in order to do the analysis, all right, so we need to do two different tests, right? So we have two procedures that we need to follow. So the first one, we call it as leave-in test, right? So the leave-in test is actually, the main purpose of the leave-in test is to check the equality of the variances, right? So we need to perform the first one, leave-in test. Right, because this one is on page 105, all right? And then the purpose is to check, okay, the equality of variances, right? And then once we already done with the living test, we need to proceed to the next one. So we call it as independent t-test. So the purpose of doing the independent t-test is to check the equality of means, right? So what does it mean, right? So the first one, the living test, is to check. Okay, let me show you, all right? So if you can see on page 106, right? Let me explain this one a bit. Okay. Okay, for the living test, so we also need to do the 4 steps. Okay, so the first step is to make sure that we have two independent samples, right? And then we are going to use t-test, okay? Sorry, leave-in test, right? And then to check, okay, the equality of variances. So I hope you can understand my handwriting. Okay, the second one is to write our HO and also our HA. So our HO always have equal signs. Usually what we did, we always use mean mu1, something like that. Okay, this time because we want to check variance. So the variance is represented by sigma. Okay, sigma square 1 is equal to sigma square 2, right? So this is the hypothesis, the null hypothesis. And for the alternative hypothesis, so it's supposed to be this one, right? So this is the hypothesis that we need for the living test procedure, all right? Okay, if you have any question, please don't hesitate to ask me, all right? So raise your hand or just voice, okay, say something. All right. So, and then number 3 again. So we need to decide, okay, in this case, we have only uh, two tail. Okay, two tail test, all right, because not equal sign. And then also we need to know what is our alpha, all right. So if alpha is given in the question, so you need to follow the alpha. If alpha is not given, so it means that automatically we need to take the alpha equal to 0.05, okay? And then, okay, we need to find out our significant value from SPSS, what is given from the output table, right? And the last step will be, we need to make decision. If the significant value less than our alpha, it means that we need to reject the null hypothesis, all right? So we are going to do the example after this, all right? So this is the first one. So all the information, if you look at the table from the SPSS, actually we can divide the table into two different parts. Okay, the first part is for the living test, and the second part is for the t-test, right? So you can also see the same thing on page 106. All right, so there will be two separate results, all right, from the SPSS. So what I want you to do, all right, so on page, for example, for page 106, ada apa-apa ke? Sorry. Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, for page 106, what you need to do, okay, there's a table there, all right, for the output for the independent sample t-test. So I would like you to draw a line, a very significant line, a very clear line to divide. Maybe you can use, red pen or blue pen or whatever color pen, all right, and then divide between the living test and the t-test, all right. So like this, all right. So should be divided into two parts, right? So you know that the first one is actually for the living test, and the second part, the on the right, will be the t-test. Okay, is everybody okay? Right. So now let's talk about table, the right table. Eh? So the one is for the t-test. Okay. So the first, sorry, I put it here, and this is the first step. So the t-test, independent. Okay, we have two independent samples. Okay, and our purpose this time is to check the equality of the mean. Right, so I will explain it later. Okay, once after we do the SPSS. Okay, in our SPSS. So then I will explain how to interpret the results from whatever we get. Okay, so the second step is our HO and HA. Okay, this time is to check the equality of mean. When I say the word mean, it means mu, right? So mu1, is it mu1 is equal to mu2, or mu1 not equal to mu2, or it can be greater or less than. Okay, this one is totally different than the variance just now. Okay, where we have the HA is not equal sign only, but this time we can have in HA not equal sign greater than or less than. And then number three, again, we need to decide whether one or two tail tests, and then we need to find what is our alpha. If it is two-tailed test, it means that the alpha need be to be divided by two, yeah, if two-tailed. And then we also need to look at, the value of significant value from the SPSS. And later on, we need to make conclusion, reject H naught if alpha is less than 0.05, right? Okay, is everybody okay so far? Are you okay? All right. So please say something. All right. Okay, thank you. All right. Okay, okay, thank you, thank you. All right. So let's continue with our SPSS now. Okay, I share with you, one data file, which is called Survey for ED, right? So I would like you to open the data. Okay, I'll show you how to do it, right? So, but then, what does it mean by for ED? Actually, from the book for edition, okay? So that's the reason it got survey for ED. Right, so let's continue with our SPSS. Let me stop this one first. And then we go to SPSS. Okay, can you see my screen? Can you see SPSS? Yes or no?
Yes, doctor.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. All right. So this is how you can. Okay, first of all, can you just copy the data file in your PC or in whatever in your PC or your laptop, the survey data? Okay, okay, once you done with the data, please let me know. So I will show you how actually you can call the data from your PC or your laptop. Okay, Nadira done. Okay, who else? Okay, Anong, Alia, alright, and then Roha. Okay, okay, Esther, thank you. All right, Devi, Sarah. Okay. Yes, Sarah. Any questions, Sarah? Oh, you done? Is it?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, okay. All right. So, Jiki. Okay, Jackie. Sorry. Okay, thank you. All right. So let's recall. Okay, recall the data from your any resources that you have. Okay. So you go to File and then Open and go to Data. Okay, so for example, you save it somewhere in your folder. All right, so you just click survey for ed.sav. .sav is actually for the data set, SPSS data set, right? So if SPO, it means SPSS output, right? And then, okay, so once you click that one, just click open, right? So, and then the data should come out on your screen. Okay, so for those people, right, who are actually not sure what we are doing now, please go to page 105 and 106. So we are doing that exercise on that page. Okay, is everybody okay? Can we continue? Atika, can we continue? All right,
Yeah.
good. Okay. Right, so now we would like to analyze. Now we have two independent samples, all right? So what we are going to do, right? If you go to the variable view, click variable view tab at the bottom. So you can see there's a, what we want to do is sex, okay, gender. So it has two category. So male and also female, right? And then we go down until you see total self-esteem, okay? Okay, total self-esteem, right? So this one, right. So this is actually quantitative data, all right? So we are going to divide, we want to compare who actually got a better or lower or not equal score in total self-esteem score when we compare between male and female, right? So that's the purpose. So we want to see whether male and female, do they have the same total score of self-esteem, right? So now I go back to the data view, right? So the data view, if you can see here, is all the data or the information that we got from the survey. So if I go to edit and then sorry, view, and then I click value labels, okay, I unclick this one. So what you can see all the numbers only without the label, the name of the variable, okay. So it's up to you which one actually you would like to see, right? So the best is actually sometimes for us to look at the value labels, okay? Because sometimes we forget one is actually for what, two is for what, and so on. Right, now go to analyze, all right? And then compare means, Okay, if I go too fast, okay, please let me know. All right, and then independent sample t-test. All right, click that one. Okay, remember the big box above is actually for quantitative data. So I would like you to write on page 105. Okay, so 105 on this box, write quantitative data. Right. So write it quantitative data in the big box here. And the lower box, okay, write qualitative data because we have group or we can use, when I say qualitative, it can be nominal or ordinal, right? So, but for the information that we need to include, to insert in the big box should be quantitative data, right? So this one, so I go to that. I remember just now the total. Sorry, total self-esteem score. Bring it to the right. Okay, and then we want to compare between male and female. So you take gender or sex just now, right? Okay, so it's supposed to be here, right? You can see the icon here. It is a Venn diagram is actually to represent nominal data, right? To bring it here. And then we need to define the group. We need to tell the SPSS which group we want to compare. So we have compare number one for male and group number two is for female. Okay, so you need to follow exactly what you have defined in your variable view, right? So, okay, I wait here for 3 seconds, okay, for those who, who miss what I have explained just now to catch up with me, all right? Okay. Okay, once you're done, just show your apa, orang kata raise your hand or show your thumbs up. Okay. Okay, thank you. All right. So once you're done, click continue and then okay. That's all you need. Right. So in our case, so we are going to use alpha is equal to 0.05, right? So this is what we get. Okay, so let me copy this one down, copy, and I put in my slides. Okay, okay. Okay, hold on, people. I think I need to. Okay, let me share with you my slides so it's easy for us to discuss. All right. Okay, right. Can you see my slides now?
Yes, Doctor, can.
Okay, thank you. Right. So as I said, the table in the SPSS output can be divided into two parts. All right. So the first part. So now I'm talking on page 106. All right. Hopefully we get the same number here, 0.82. Yeah, 62. Right. So let's do the first part first, which is the leave-in test for equality of variances. Okay. So in this case, so we need, this is the sigval, okay? Okay, this is the sigval that we need for our step number 3. So the first one, as I said, we need to write, okay, this one is the independent sample, okay, independent sample. And then we need to use the leave-in test, okay, or equality of variances, this one right here. Okay, and then step number 2. So our H naught is variance 1, group 1. Is it equal to variance group 2? HA is variance 1, not equal to variance number 2. Remember, why do we need to do this leave-in test? I've already explained this one in our previous meeting. I remember I said that when we want to make comparison or we want to compare between two groups, we need to make sure that they are equal. They are, they actually represent same level of people. Orang daripada satu kampung, I mean, sewaktu dengannya. So we need to have that kind of respondents or subjects before we can make any comparison, right? So for the step number 3, all right, we go down. Okay, step number 3. So this one is two-sided, two-tail, okay, two-tail test, all right, because we have not equal sign. And then our alpha, let's say we use 0.05, and our df in this case, remember, okay, df is different, okay? So in our case, so we have this one, okay, how can we know the df? So you need to look at how many number of sample do you have. So it will be n minus 1, right? So if I look at actually from the previous aspect yang kau terperanjat. Sorry, Dr. Nohayati Zakwan scare me. Wow. All right. Okay. So let's see. Okay. When we look at the SPSS output just now, we can absolutely know how many N do we have. For the female, we have 184, and for the female, we have 252. So the DF will be, okay, actually, when we add these two numbers, 184 plus 252 minus 2, right? So it means that 184 minus 1 for group 1, and then 252 minus 1, and then we add them together, right? All right, so let's continue. Okay, that one is DF. Okay, so we have actually N1 plus N2 minus 2. That's the DF, right? And then so our sigval here, okay, what is our sigval? So our sigval is, you can see here from here, 0.062, right? So you just write 0.062. 0.062. Yeah. Okay. And then for number 4, in order to make decision, all right, so reject H naught if sigval is less than alpha. So our sigval is 0.062. Is it less than alpha, 0.05? Is it true or not? Anyone? Yes or no? Yes or no? Okay, no, all right. So the answer is no, right? So no. So it means that we need to accept H naught. So when I say we need to accept H naught, okay, remember that, okay, when we accept H naught, so we accept this one, alright? Sorry. Sila, jangan marah, jangan marah. Okay, we accept H naught. This one is true, and this one is not true. So what conclusion can we make? Is the variances are equal or not? Yes or no? Are the variances of the two groups are equal? Yes or no? Any answer? Yes. Okay. So because we accept this one, so we can conclude that okay, the variances, okay, the variances when we accept H naught, it means this one, yeah. All right. So the variances are equal. So it means we can proceed with T test, all right, which is the second step. Okay, is everybody okay? Right, so now, since the variance are equal, so it's fair enough for us to compare between the two groups. Now we can do our second procedure, which is the t-test, right? So now we need to look at the t-test again. Here is the df. The df is here, right? And then since the, okay, when you need to look at this one, right? This is the first table, the first part of the table. So we have two conclusions here. If the equivariances are assumed, all right, then we need to use the first row, information in the first row. If the equivariances are not assumed, if we reject the H naught, okay, this one we accept H naught, and then this one we reject H naught, okay. So if we reject H naught, so it means that the equivariance the variances are not equal, then we need to use the information on in the second row, okay. So in our case, so we have equivariance, so we need to use, okay, we need to use the first row, information in the first row. Okay, you need to be very, very careful. Then you need to use this value right here, not this one. Okay, not this one. Okay, this one if you have not equal, unequal variances. Okay, so again, just follow, just like what we did before. Okay, so we had t-test, sorry, okay, independent sample t-test, all right? And then, so we do number two. Okay, why we use t-test? Usually because we have a small sample, but in our case, even we have like 400 something, we are still using the t-test, okay, in SPSS. Second one, our HO and HA. Now we are talking about, equal or equality of means. So we need to use mu1 is equal to mu2, mu1 not equal to mu2, right? And then number three is our is going to be uh, two tail. All right. Let's say we use two tail, not equal sign because of not equal sign. And then our alpha is 0.05, and our DF just now is 434. Okay. And then our sigval. Okay. We need to take the in from the first row, 0.105. Okay. And then step number three, okay, sorry, step number four, reject H naught, sigval less than 0.05, okay. So is our sigval 0.105, is it less than 0.05? Yes or no? Anyone? No, okay, thank you. Right, just want to, okay. So the answer is no. If no, it means that we need to accept, therefore, okay, accept thus, okay, except H naught. So when we say except H naught, so it means that, okay, we accept H naught, which is mu1 is equal to mu2. So it means there is no difference, okay? So the conclusion I can say there is no, there is no difference between, um, sorry, difference in the total esteem score between males and females, right? So that's the conclusion I can. Sure. Is everybody okay? Right. So that should be the answer. Okay. Then for page 105 and 106, and also page 107. Okay. Right. Okay, Ma, if you are done, so I would like to show you how actually we can enter data, okay? Because what we did just now, we already have data, okay, from somewhere, and then we apply it for our analysis. But what happened if we have raw data and we want to enter the data using the SPSS, right? So let me show you. I'm going to use the data on page 114. Okay, page 114. Or maybe let me see whether we have any data at the back that we can use. Let me see. Okay, don't have. Okay, let's say, yeah, I'm using on page 114. Ni pukul 12. Dah 12:30. Oh, okay, you nak ni. Ja, okay, a few seconds ya. Apa ni? So jangan tinggalkan. Adakah someone nak stay? Ada kalau nak tinggal pun tanya dia orang boleh. Nanti kita nak soal kena saya sampai pukul 1. Nanti saya sampai pukul 1 baru tanya dia orang. Siapa yang tak, kalau tak siapa yang nak pergi lunch dulu pergilah. Alright. Okay. Nanti kita balik pukul 2 cakap dengan dia orang. Right. Okay. So let's continue, right? How to actually how data can be entered, okay, for independent sample t-test, right, for the independent sample. So let me see if we can go back to uh, our SPSS. Okay, so what we need to do, okay, just go to file new data, right? So we can get a very fresh what sheet for for data entry. Okay, so once you have this one, okay, are you ready guys? Okay, we are going to do page 114, but what we can do, I'm going to take treatment 1 and also treatment 3. Okay, we only have two treatment or two groups only because we are using two sample. All right, so this one we have 4 samples, but therefore I'm going to take treatment 1 and also treatment 2 data only to be compared. Right. So the first thing, okay, we go to the variable view, and then I just put here score, right? Okay, and then the second one score, okay, the label is score whatever, all right? And then remember we need to put it as scale, okay? The data that we want to compare should be quantitative. And then the next one, we also need for the small box, okay, for qualitative. So we want to compare what group. So I call this one as treatment. Okay, treatment. So and then the decimal I take it out, all right? And then this one just treatment. Okay, so we have the measurement here should be nominal, right? So I stay here for 3 seconds. So we have the first variable score. The second variable is treatment. Okay, right. So the next one, go to the data view. Now it's time for us to, okay, sorry, I forgot something. So in this treatment, we need to define the values. Okay, so one is actually for treatment one. Okay, and then you add. Two is treatment two. Two is treatment three. Right? So actually I want to compare between treatment one and also treatment three. And then I add it here. Right? Okay, now just click OK. So we go back to the data view, right? So now when we click this one, we know it will be two different treatments that we want to compare, all right? So the score, you need to put all the information, the data from treatment one until treatment three in one column. So I have 10, for example, and then what is the number? 15, all right? And then I have 8. Hoy, kat mana ni? Di type ni sampai tak nampak korang. Lampu kat sini gelap sangat. Oh, tak jalan pula. So let me delete this one first. So I have again, retype again 15. And then I have it. And then continue this one for treatment 1. And then for treatment 3, I have 17. Okay, let's check. Altogether we have 12 data. Is it true? Ya ke? Macam sikit je. 2, 4, 5. Yeah, 12 altogether. Okay? All right. So let's read whether we have correct data. 10, 15, 8, 12, 16. 15, 17, 16. Saya ni 14, 15, 17, 15 and 18. Is that correct? Yeah. And then 10 until 15 is treatment 1. So you just choose treatment 1. So 1, 1. Okay, treatment 1 until 15. And then starting from 17 onwards will be treatment 3. But we call it as treatment number 2. Okay. Treatment 3. Okay, is everybody okay? Okay, this is how it looks like. Okay, when you need to enter the data for independent sample, right? So again, what we can do, just go to compare means, and then we have independent sample t-test, right? So bring score to the right, and then remember for the grouping variable should be in the small box, and you just need to define the group 1 for treatment 1. Group 2 is treatment number 2 is actually for treatment number 3. Okay, just continue and then okay. So you are going to have the same procedure just like what you did before for the independent sample t-test, right? So you need to compare, you need to do two different tests the first one is living test, and the second one is the t-test, right? Okay, any question? Okay, I would like you to do this example right here. So you have a very okay, hold on. Okay. Okay, before page 109, supposedly, after page 108 and then 109, you have empty space there. So I would like you to do that living test and also the t-test now, and write your steps, okay, on that empty space, blank space. Can you blank page? Sorry. So can you please do it now? Okay, section one, can you please scan your attendance, please? Okay, for your information, next week, either okay, we are going to have our quiz for one hour class during 1 hour class next week. So I'm not sure yet whether we are going to do it online or we are going to do it face to face. Whatever it is, I will let you know. All right, next Sunday, I will confirm it. Okay, section two. All right. So how is it going? Are you guys okay? Okay. Can you do the question, the example that we just discussed? Okay or not? Okay, girl? Right. So I stop our session for today now, all right? So I will see you again on Wednesday. So we are going to continue with our chapter 9, which is on ANOVA. Okay, ANOVA is actually the extension of independent sample t-test. Okay, when t-test, we only can compare between two groups, but ANOVA will allow us to compare more than two groups. Okay, so we are going to do chapter 9 on this Wednesday online. Right. So I'll see you guys again on Wednesday. Okay, if you have any questions, you can ask me now. Okay, don't forget your homework that need to be submitted this week. All
Thank you,
right.
Doctor.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, bye bye.
Thank you, Doctor.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay.